The Heroes and the Hidden by Kitty Quat on AO3. Episode 19. Chapter 18. Selling Out from Compromise. What homework did you guys need help with? Izuku asked, turning to dig out his school notebook. A group of students had taken him to a nearby alley, but he shrugged off the feeling he got. He felt like Kachan and his friends were there beside him. Izuku suddenly flew across the alley into a brick wall, gasping for breath on the floor. The girl who had invited him out laughed and brought her sketchy limb back up. Izuku struggled to his feet, tears starting to fall from his face. Koichai, Akana, Quirk, elongated limbs. The user could stretch her limbs far distances with greater power. Weakness, cut off her limbs. Stretch them till they rip. Knot them together so they can't shrink. Slice the muscles in the limb. He recites what he knows, and has studied in his head slowly, allowing himself something to focus as he stares at the kids.
What? Did you think we really were that dumb?
She asked him, smiling wickedly.
We found out that you're just a quirkless nobody. We should have known by those atrocious shoes you wear. A little birdie told me that the fragile need to wear them.
She gestures vaguely with her hand, her friend taking it as a cue. She breathes a dense, heavy vapor that fills up the alley, obscuring things from view. Imiko, Hankara. Quirk, dense fog. The user can emit a heavy fog that clings to the immediate area. Weakness, tape her mouth shut so she suffocates on the fog. Trap it in a small room and let it freeze over. Slice across her face so the fog isn't directed. Izuku takes a small step forwards, trying to see his classmates in the vapor. Koichi's laugh echoes through the alley from all around him as he steps forward again.
Can the little weakling not see us?
She taunts, whistling low. Izuku's picked up by nothing and chucked across the alley into a trash can. Genko Ito. Quirk, magnetic telekinesis. The user can magnetize objects/people and push them away from their bodies. Weakness, cut his fingers off so he couldn't control it. Jab pencils into his eyes to make it impossible to see. Izuku struggled to gain another breath as he thought about their quirks. They're powerful, and he is weak. But he is smart. He knows their weaknesses. Suddenly, a hand grabs Izuku's hair, his scalp burning. He screams, trying to tug the hand away, when long chains wrap around him, sending him spiraling to the floor, heat still radiating off his scalp. Hakuryu, Masazu. Quirk, body heat. The user generates a high amount of body heat, hot enough to melt metal, and able to expel it for a small distance. Weakness, cold. Freezes hands and body, make them expel too much, force liquid nitrogen into their veins. Siko, Quirk, chains. The user's fingers turn into powerful chain metals. Weakness, cut off fingers. Melt the chains. Cut the chains with powerful wire cutters. Izuku screams as his head is on fire until he's whimpering. Ankei steps into the fog, gesturing lightly. The fire in his head subsides as he pants for breath, weak and in pain.
Did you really think no one like you could come to our school and pretend to be normal? You're too fragile to handle being around normal kids with your disability.
She mocks, kicking him down, the chains letting go. He smacks his head on the ground, his vision blurring.
We're just being heroes and getting rid of a weakling like you.
She goes to stomp him again, when a book comes flying from nowhere, smacking into the back of her head. She turns around, snarling, at Hitoshi, who stands petrified in the opening. Izuku coughs, spitting out blood. Go away, Hitoshi! Izuku mumbles, trying to shoo his friend away. Hitoshi ignores him, grabbing another book from his back.
Is the mute girl really trying to protect her useless friend?
Ankei asks, stepping forward, letting her arm get long and stretch towards Hitoshi. Hitoshi dodges under it, rolling on the ground before running to Izuku, standing in front of him. Hitoshi, no! Izuku says again, trying to push himself up. His sides feel like it's on fire as he moves, making him gasp in pain. Hitoshi tells him to quiet, hands hidden behind his back as he stares at the kids approaching them.
Do yourself a favor and let us teach the weakling a lesson.
Ankane tells Hitoshi, stepping towards him with wide arms.
Unless you'd like to join us.
She invites. Hitoshi growls, slightly, eyes glancing between Izuku and the group. Izuku sighs a low no, hoping for Hitoshi to listen. He doesn't. Why are you guys doing this? Hitoshi asks, voice cracking and weak. The gaggle of students pause, staring at Hitoshi shocked.
Since when do you talk?
Akane and Saiki ask at the same time. The rest remain silent. Hitoshi tightens his fist as his quirk takes hold. The other three kids look at their leader expectantly. She stands slack with Hitoshi's hold, her eyes a glossy white. What did you do to her? Handaka demands, emitting puff of smoke as she talks. Suffocate. Hitoshi shrugs, his hand shaking as he gives a command. Make you and your friends go away. He drops a hold, regaining his balance, as Akane extends her arms, wrapping her group up and leading them away. Matsuda screams, her body heat growing. Suddenly, Akane screams as well, whipping back around to Hitoshi and Izuku. Her arms burnt, where Matsuda's was.
What the hell was that, mute girl?
She screams, rubbing her arms. It hangs limply just out where the burn was, slowly healing. She extends her arms again, wrapping them around Hitoshi, who screams in pain as he is lifted into the air, his arms pinned at his sides. Akane slams him against the wall, a few pieces of rubble falling onto Izuku, who sobs. Hitoshi shouldn't have tried to help. Izuku was a curse. He got Hitoshi hurt. He hurt Hitoshi. He hurt his mom. He killed his mom. He didn't want to kill Hitoshi. He sobbed quietly, watching Hitoshi flinch in pain as he was dropped to the floor across from Izuku.
We need to teach this villain a lesson,
Akane says, stepping toward Shinsou.
With a creepy quirk like that, you must be a villain.
Matsuda looks over at Izuku, disgust in her eyes.
What about the quirkless freak?
She asks, her body radiating warmth. Akane scoffs, turning her friends quickly.
Do you really think that little runt can hurt us?
She asks, gesturing at Izuku, who shivers, trying to push himself to his feet.
This is the real villain.
She hits Hitoshi with her long hand, smiling as he winces in pain. Izuku sees red. He won't let Hitoshi get hurt. He won't be the cause of Hitoshi getting hurt. He bites his tongue, pushes himself to his feet finally. He could hear Hitoshi scream distantly, his sobs cutting Izuku's heart like a knife. Knife. He had one of Toga's knives. It was for use in emergencies. This was an emergency. Izuku stepped forward quietly, pulling the knife from where he had it tucked in his shoe. Cut, suffocate, kill, save. Izuku ran forward, swinging the knife up, cutting halfway through one of Akia's long arms. She screamed, slapping him back before holding her bleeding wound. It wasn't enough. The knife couldn't cut through bone. It wasn't enough, but Izuku was. He had let himself go, feeling his fingertips lightning on fire as his talons tore through his skin. He raced forward, slashing his talons at Akia's face, but was blocked by Sakia's chains. Wrapping around his wrists, he could hear Akia say something about a quirk, but he wasn't listening. Save. He had to save Hitoshi. He screamed, letting his whole body scream with him. He felt like he was burning alive. Matsuda's quirk. She must be using her quirk. Freeze. He felt his jaw crack and pop, his mouth become bigger. He could bite them in half. He saw his vision changing, colors of vivid hues replaced by soft green light and red splotches against the environment. He heard sounds change. Akia's scream of fear, and Midoriya's run footsteps. Why was he still on fire if she wasn't here? He could taste a sick copper taste pool in his blood, causing him to spit. The screams got louder as he heard sizzling. He could smell fear. It radiated off the kids in front of him. All but one. Hitoshi. Save Hitoshi. He sliced his large paw. Why did he have a paw? At the field-filled children, smiling as he connected with one body, sending them into the wall, bones crackling against the brick. He licked his maw, clutching. On his leg, letting his tail hang behind him. Where did the tail come from? He bit towards another fear-riddled body, delighted in joy as he tasted the metallic of chains, snapping them into two. Psyche screamed, his fingers gushing blood. It fell against the ground, sliding into cool, earth-creating red mud. Monster! Akane screamed, struggling to run away. The monster tilted his head to the side, grabbing her shirt between two talons, lifting her into the air. She kicked and flared, trying to hit his nose or free herself. He licked the acid blood that pooled on his joints, lifted her above his mouth, and let it hang open. Oh, the sweet smell of fear made him so happy. She screamed louder, now trying to hand onto his talons as he slowly lowered her down. He froze when he heard a voice below him. Izuku! It was rough and gravelly. It sounded safe against the scream of Akin. He wasn't Izuku. He looked down, licking his maws again, as he met lavender eyes staring back at him. Let her go, Hitoshi said softly, touching the monster's large paw. Izuku stared down at him, whining slightly. Why did Hitoshi want to let her down? She was hurting him. Izuku was saving him. Let her go. Hitoshi choked again. He complied, settling the girl down and turning back to Hitoshi as she ran away screaming. Hitoshi petted the fur that covered his broken body softly, looking up at him. Izuku lifted his head, listening at the sounds of footsteps, and having panting got closer. He could see that the heat forms of people approaching. They were going to hurt Hitoshi. Izuku grabbed Hitoshi with his front teeth, picking up his backpack with a claw before scrambling up on the top of buildings, using his hind legs to lift them. He could hear Hitoshi gasp in wonderment. He needed to save Hitoshi. Save Tsukauchi. Izuku ran forwards towards the edge of the roof as Hitoshi screamed. He leapt at the last second, letting his back talons dig into the roof, propelling him forward onto the apartment across the street. Hitoshi yelled as Izuku ran faster and faster to safety. To Tsukauchi. He needed to save Hitoshi. He could feel the wind whip past him and see the forms of people on the street below as he raced over their heads and deeper into the city. Landing on top of the police station, Izuku gently set Hitoshi down, whining. Hitoshi stumbled before looking up at Izuku, shocked. Zuku. He signed, looking around confused. Izuku pushed him with his nose, before standing up on his hind legs and looking around. He could hear screams nearby. He could smell the fear from him radiating off the people. It was strong. He leapt from the buildings, running to face the enemy. Izuku! The monster could hear Hitoshi scream from behind him. But he didn't listen. He ran against the roofs and into the shadows of the alleyways, letting the smell of blood lead him. The screams were louder now, overpowered all his other senses. Save, kill, fight. The monster ripped through a wall, coming face to face with a group of villains who shoved and poked at a small reptilian girl into a cage. A woman with the same brown hair screamed from where she was being held, blood dripping down her side wound. A knife from one of the masked men dripped with the same color of blood. Drip, drip, drip. The monster saw red. The monster saw only red as he leapt forward into the room, grabbing the kidnapper with a different mask, biting down on the neck. The taste of blood ran through his throat, making him gurgle before chewing on his meal and licking his lips. Save. Kill. Izuku. The monster. Villain. Hero. White. Black. Shades of gray.
Oh my god, I love that. I love that. Oh my god, I put pause at the perfect moment then. I put pause at the perfect moment. Oh my god. I love that. I love that. Okay. The next chapter is chapter 19. I just want control. I feel so exposed. Naomasa finds Hitoshi. Izuku's alone. I'm scared. Will Izuku actually find, something that he needs? Help? I'm scared. I don't blame Izuku for lashing out and stuff. My heart goes to him. Obviously, I have OCs who are horrific, horrible people, and my heart still goes out to them. So, Izuku could do mass slaughter, and I would not mind. There's some lines that I would not cross though. Izuku cannot be homophobic. He could be a mass murderer. He can't be homophobic, or transphobic. Those are the things I just no. He's that, and I no longer like him in the fic. But he can mass murder people. Okay, he could be a murderer, but I draw the line at racism, homophobia, or transphobia. Anyways, that was an interesting turnaround per se. That's all I can say. Just that was okay. Anyways, as always, my raindrops, make sure to eat, sleep, drink water, take your meds, have a wonderful day or night. Link to my Discord server and socials are down in the description. Subscribe to see more of my content, and thank you so much for watching.